Hi guys, welcome to another episode of our Marine Technical Training Academy. Today we are going to continue in our book of marine electricity, and this is the chapter 3 dedicated to the batteries. This is the episode number 1 of chapter 3. We are going to talk about the batteries, the marine batteries. This is, in my opinion, one of the topics that is growing faster every day. New technology, new materials, new combinations are available on the market. Yes, the batteries the batteries are the trend of this business in this moment. Okay, guys, we are going to start talking about the composition of the battery, the different type of batteries, and why the selection of the batteries in the new boats, the hybrid boats, the solar boats, the full electric boats is critical. Yes, this is the topic that change the condition of the boat and change the condition of the life inside of the boat. The quality of the batteries, the capacity of the battery bank, and the external factors like the generator, solar panels, those elements work together. If you have an RV or if you have a boat, that selection of those topics today is the topic of the day. All right, the batteries. We are going to start right now to talk about the batteries. The batteries is an element that have two functions: storage energy and produce energy. Yes, this is the difference between the battery and the capacitor. The capacitor, some people say, yeah, the capacitor is basically a battery. It's not a battery, because the capacitor only stores energy. However, the battery stores energy and produce energy. That's the main difference between capacitor and battery. Okay, the battery internally, to produce energy, the battery is configured in a group of cells. The cells are connected in series to produce the output voltage of the battery and the output capacity in amps. And right now we are going to try to analyze what is the meaning of the cell. The main component, the small components of the batteries are the cells. You can create cells in different ways. You can create cells with a couple of metals, two different metals or equal metals, and one electrolyte. And the electrolyte is the fluid that help with the movement of electrical charge from one terminal to the other one, or from the other one to the first one, depending if the flow of current is in the discharge mode or in the recharge mode. Right now we are going to talk about that. This is the battery. The battery is a composition of a group of cells, and each cell by itself is imagine a plastic container. You have a plastic container, and inside of the plastic container you have two terminals, two dissimilar metals. Imagine two dissimilar metals suspended in the plastic container, and the plastic container have a fluid. The name of that fluid is an electrolyte. The electrolyte have properties. It's a good conductor of electricity. That's the property number 1. And now we are going to talk only about that property. It's a good conductor of electricity. In the typical batteries, that electrolyte is a composition of water and acid. The typical lead acid batteries, because the terminals are in lead, and the electrolyte is a composition of water and sulfuric acid, 35% and 65%. 65% of water, 35% of acid, sulfuric acid. Yes, this is a great electrolyte because that fluid helps with the movement of charge between one terminal into the other. If you introduce two dissimilar metals in that container, you have a cell, and immediately one of the terminal become positive and other of the terminal become negative, and start the flow of charge. How is the flow of charge in the battery? We are going to check quickly. This is the example of the battery. And this is the configuration of the typical battery. You have cells, and the cells connected in series, the negative of the first one with the positive of the second one, the negative of the second one with the positive of the third one, and you increase one by one. When you create a cell, we are going to create a small cell. And you can create that cell in your home. If you have a lime, you have a lemon, and if you introduce two dissimilar metals, one penny and one dime, two coins, the preferred coins in your country, you introduce one coin, other coin, that's it. If the coin is introduced and touch the citric acid of the lemon, the citric acid will be the electrolyte, and the penny and the dime are the terminals of the battery, and you have a battery right now, you have a cell. If you check the voltage DC between both terminals, you have a 1.0, 1.2, 1.5 volts. Nice. Right now you have one cell, and the voltage of that cell is around 1.5 volts. Can I connect that cell in series with other cell? Yes. If you connect in series that cell with other one, the output voltage between the positive terminal and the negative terminal will be 3 volts. If you connect another one, the output voltage will be 4.5. Yes, you can increase the voltage. Remember, you increase the voltage when you connect in series. However, in series, the amps stay constant. And you remember, in parallel, what happens when you connect positive with positive and negative with negative? The voltage stays constant. However, the amps increase. That's the difference between series and parallel connection. Okay, you can create a battery of 12 volts with 6 cells. And this is the typical battery that you have in your car. It's a plastic container with 6 cells. And each cell produces around 2.1 volts. Each cell with place in lead. One lead become positive, the other one become negative. The electrolyte is a composition of sulfuric acid and water. And the first cell is connected with the second cell, and the second cell in series with the third cell, and the third cell with the fourth cell, and the 5 with the 6. And between the first positive and the last negative, right now you have 12.5, 12.6 volts DC. This is the battery. Simple. This is the process to create a battery. Okay, we are going to return quickly to the cell, and we are going to analyze what happened in the positive terminal and the negative terminal. This is the situation. When you introduce both metals in the electrolyte, one of those metals, the charge of that terminal will be positive and the other one negative. Let me explain why. Each metal, you remember in the periodic table, have your own energy, your own electronegativity. What is the meaning of that? According with the amount of electrons in the last orbit, the elements are organized in the periodic table. And that amount of electrons dictates the energy, the level of energy, the electronegativity of each element. Okay, this is the energy of each element, and the element, depending on the amount of electrons in the last orbit, that element try to complete in the last orbit always 8 electrons, that's the maximum, or 0, 8 or 0. If you remember in the periodic table, the metals located in the group number 1 and group number 2, they have only 1 electron in the last orbit, or only 2 electrons. Those elements, they have low level of energy. And the elements located in this side of the periodic table, groups 5, group 6, group 7, they have in the last orbit 5 or 6 or 7 electrons in the last orbit. Those elements in the group number 7, they only need 1 extra electron to complete A and be stable. And those elements here in this area, they have more energy, because they need complete A, they only need 1 or 2 electrons to fill the last orbit. And the element located in groups number 1 and 2, they only have 1 or 2 electrons, and they prefer release that electron because it's too difficult for those elements complete A. They don't have the energy. Okay, that ability to lose electrons is the electromechanical potential. The elements, the metals located in group number 1 and 2, they have the highest electromechanical potential. It's the highest ability to lose electrons. And the element located here in those groups 5, 6, 7, they have the lowest electromechanical potential they, to lose electron. This one, they have the highest energy to lose electrons. And this one, the lowest to lose electron. They prefer gain because the electronegativity is too high. Okay, this is important that you keep in mind what is the difference between electronegativity, is the own energy of each element, and the electromechanical potential is the ability of each element to lose electrons. Those elements, they have high electromechanical potential, and then those elements, they have low electromechanical potential. Perfect. Okay, we are going to return to the battery. If I have one terminal and the other terminal, one become positive and the other one negative. What happened in that case? The elements with the high electromechanical potential, group number 1 or 2, they try to lose electrons. And those electrons will be attracted for the other metal in the other side. The other metal in the other terminal absorb those electrons and become charged negative at the end of the day. The positive terminal of the battery is the metal that lose electrons during the day. The positive terminal of the battery is the terminal that lose electrons. Is the terminal that at the end of the day is charged more positive because lose a lot of electrons. And the negative terminal of the battery is the terminal, is the metal, is the alloy that absorb electrons during the day. At the end of the day will be charged negative because it's charged with a lot of electrons on the pocket. And the other terminal, the positive terminal, lose electron during the day, and at the end of the day is less negative, it's more positive. This is why this terminal is called the positive terminal or anode, and the other terminal will be the negative terminal or cathode, because the cathode is charged with a full amount of negative charge, and the positive terminal release a lot of positive charge and create holes. This is why the anode, the other technical name of the anode is sacrificial anode, because at the end of the day, the anode will be eroded and will be sacrificed. Later we are going to talk how can we use that property to protect other metals with sacrificial anode. Yes, the positive terminal will be the anode, the negative terminal will be the cathode. And remember, in the batteries, we have one phenomenon. The positive terminal is the terminal that loses electrons. The electron flows from the positive terminal into the negative terminal. This is the flow of electrons from positive terminal into negative terminal. However, you remember the third law of Newton, that if you apply one force in an object that is at rest, the object exert another force in the opposite direction, exactly the same magnitude that the force that you apply. Yes, this is the third law of Newton, and is similar in current. Okay, the flow of electrons is from the positive terminal into the negative. However, the flow of electricity is in the opposite side, from the negative terminal into the positive terminal. The current flows from negative to positive, and the electrons, the charge, flows from the positive into the negative. It's very, very simple. Later, we are going to talk about the lithium batteries, and we are going to understand that phenomenon. When the battery is in the process of discharge, is the flow of electrons. The electrons are flowing from positive to negative during the process of discharge of the battery. When the battery is in the process of recharge, it's different because the negative terminal lose ions, and the ions on the electrolyte are divided and create electricity, and the electricity recharges the positive terminals with electrons. Bingo! This is the process. Okay. In the discharge process, I have flow of electrons. In the recharge process, I have flow of ions. Very interesting, huh, guys? Okay, great. This is the explanation about the flow of electricity and what is the meaning of the anode and what is the meaning of the cathode. And this is why, my friends, in your battery, at the end of the day, a year later, if you check the positive terminal of the battery, that positive terminal will be eroded. And you see a piece of metal in the positive completely corroded, completely eroded. Yes? Because that element release electron, release electron, release electron every day, and each time that one electron jumped out, a hole is created. And this is why at the end you have a completely eroded the positive terminal. In the other terminal, the negative, the situation is completely different. That terminal is in great condition because it's receiving energy all the time. Right? This is why you have that terminal eroded at the end of the day. When the oxygen attack the metals, the oxygen create a film of that metal. This is oxide of the metal. That powder that you see here, remember that you have the copper terminal of the cable and the lead terminal of the battery. Okay, the green powder is the oxide of copper, and the white powder is the oxide of lead. Both of oxides are perfect isolators. However, the metal by itself is a perfect conductor. The conductors, the copper and the lead, they are attached together, but between both of them is created powder, oxide of copper and oxide of lead. That powder is a perfect isolator. This is why you need clean periodically in between the terminals, the copper terminal of the cable and the lead terminal of the battery. You need with a wire brush clean that area, baking soda and wire brush, in order to keep good contact in between both metals. And of course the flow of electricity and the flow of electrons will be better. Yes, the powder, the oxides are perfect isolators. However, the metal by itself is a perfect conductor. That's incredible, no? All right, great. This is the theory related with the sacrificial act. And now we are going to talk about the classification of the batteries. The batteries are classified into cranking batteries, deep cycle batteries, and dual purpose batteries. And that classification is basically because internally in each cell, the plates of the lead, we are going to talk about lead acid batteries. Those batteries, they have plates in lead. Depending on the thickness of the plates, we can create cranking batteries with the thinner plates, or we can create deep cycle batteries, heavy batteries with thicker plates. Of course, the deep cycle batteries, because they have thicker plates, they absorb more energy and storage more energy. Yes, those batteries are a little heavy in comparison with the cranking batteries. Okay, the cranking batteries, they have thinner plates, but the cranking batteries have a good ability. Those batteries can be recharged quickly, but those batteries can be sand can be release the electron faster because the plates are too small. This is why the people prefer, for cranking purposes, cranking batteries with the thinner plates, because you want during the cranking that the batteries release the maximum amount of energy in fraction of a second. This is cranking. And in the house of your boat, you prefer deep cycle batteries because you want to store a lot of energy, a lot of amps, and you want to release those amps slowly during the day and during the night. This is why in-house battery banks you prefer deep cycle batteries, and in cranking for engine, generators, bow thrusters, some people prefer cranking batteries. The recommendation is cranking batteries. And later we are going to check what is the model of the denomination of those batteries, what information you need verify in the label when you select a cranking battery or when you select a deep cycle battery. Okay, great. This is the information related with the cranking battery, deep cycle battery. What about the last one, the dual purpose battery? Okay, this is a battery that is used in small boats, dinghy boats, tenders. In those boats you have an outboard, and you have a console with a couple of lights and a couple of loads. In that case, you can use one battery for both purpose. That battery will be the dual purpose battery. The dual purpose battery can be used for cranking small engines and house, because in the house you have a light loads. All right, this is the function of dual purpose batteries. Okay, according with the type, the batteries are classified. I am talking about the lead acid batteries in a wet lead acid batteries, or gel, or AgN, or the last one, the lithium ion batteries. We are going to talk in the episode number 3 about those lithium ion batteries. Okay, lead acid batteries. The lead acid batteries or wet batteries are recommended in cranking purposes. In cranking purposes, the captains, the openers, they prefer lead acid batteries. The lead acid batteries are the cheapest batteries in the market. What is the difference between lead acid and gel? It's basically the same battery, but in the electrolyte they added one gel substance, and the electrolyte become gel. This is good, especially in sailboats, in catamarans. And what is the difference between both of them? With the AgM, adsorbed glass material, it's basically the same material, but instead of the gel substance, they added silica in powder, and the silica absorbed the electrolyte, and now the electrolyte is powder. And this is excellent because this is considered a sealed battery. You don't need maintenance, you don't need other in the future more electrolyte or less electrolyte. This is the advantage of those batteries. And now we are going to talk about the electrolyte, and I am going to explain a couple of tips about the electrolyte. And the lithium ion batteries, later we are going to talk, is basically two terminals. One terminal in oxide of lithium, and the other terminal in a dioxide of magnesium. And the electrolyte is a mixture of lithium, the metal, lithium, with a fluorophosphate, fluorine and phosphate. That mixture, lithium and the fluorophosphate, is the electrolyte. And remember, in the process of discharge, electron from the terminal of the oxide of lithium goes out and migrate into the other terminal, the dioxide of magnesium, in the process of discharge. In the process of charging is opposite. Ions from the dioxide of magnesium through the electrolyte, in the electrolyte are divided in electrons and OH, and the electrons create electricity, and this is the electricity that recharge, that move the electrons into the positive terminal, and now the positive terminal is recharged with more electron, is less positive, is fully charged. And the differential in potential when the battery is fully charged is the maximum differential in potential. The positive terminal and the negative terminal, the measure is the maximum potential difference. When you read voltage, you read potential difference. That's great. This is the different type of batteries according with the material. We have a lead acid, we have gel, we have adsorbed glass material, AgN, and we have the lithium ion batteries. Okay guys, remember that if the voltage of the battery is low voltage, probably the capacity of the batteries in amps is higher. Yeah, low voltage, like a 6-volt batteries, you found that 6-volt batteries with the capacities of 800 amps. And of course, you have 24-volt batteries or 48-volt batteries with lower capacities in amps. Remember the ohm law. It's because the ohm law. Okay, and now we are going to check crank or deep cycle. Yes, that depends on the necessity, depending of the use. If you want to create the battery bank for the house, probably you need a deep cycle battery. Let me refresh something. In a typical boat, a pleasure yacht boat, how many group of batteries you have in a typical boat? 1, 2, 3, or more? More than 3. Let me refresh the group of batteries in a typical boat. We have one group of batteries for cranking, We have another group of batteries for the generators. Probably we have another group of batteries for house. Okay, house. Probably we have another group of batteries for electronics, a specific separate group of batteries for electronics. And another group of batteries for bow thrusters. And probably another group of batteries for the inverter. Yes, we have like a 6, 7 in some boats, depending on how big is the boat, is more battery banks. What is the secret with the battery bank? We are going to analyze that situation before we continue. What is the situation? The recommendation is in each battery bank, in each separated battery bank, all the batteries should be the same. For example, if this is the house battery bank, it's a group of batteries, 12 batteries connected in series and parallel. Okay, but all of those batteries should be the same type, gel or lead acid or AgM or lithium, all of them the same type and the same model of battery. Okay, it's all of them are 12 volts batteries, all of them should be 12 volts, series 27 and lithium batteries. Okay, great. Can I mix it in a group of batteries, gel with lead acid or no? All of them should be exactly the same capacity and the same type of battery. Okay, number one. Number two, can I have in my boat each bank of battery different type of batteries? Yes, no problem. For example, today in the majority of the boats, the house battery bank is in lithium. It's very common, every day more and more. And the cranking batteries are lead acid. And the bow thruster batteries are gel. And the electronics batteries probably AgM. Yes, but all of those groups of batteries, the secret, recommendation number 3, is that the negative of each battery bank should be connected with the negative of the other one and the negative of the other one, and all of the negatives converge in the main negative bus bar in the engine room. I'm going to repeat. Doesn't matter how many group of batteries you have in your boat, the recommendation is that the negatives of all of those group of batteries should be connected together and connected into the main negative bus bar in the engine room. Why that recommendation? Why you think that it's important that the negatives should be connected together? Why is mandatory? Doesn't matter, once again, if this group of batteries is lithium and the other one is lead acid and the other one doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if the lithium group of batteries is 48 volts and the rest of the groups 12 volts. I'm going to explain why this is not important. The negatives should be connected together. At the end of the day, the signal is the same, DC signal, straight signal. And the negative should be connected together. Let me explain why. Suppose we are going to talk about the bow thruster. Okay, where is located the joystick of the bow thruster? Yes, on the pilot hand or on the fly bridge. And where are located the batteries for the motor of the bow thruster? Pretty close to the bow thruster on the bow, or here the steam thruster pretty close to the motor of the bow thruster. And those batteries are heavy batteries connected in series, normally 24 volts or higher, close to the motor. And the joystick over there in the fly bridge. The joystick is a switch. The joystick receives power from which group of batteries? Yes, from the house or electronics batteries, the joystick. And the motor of the bow thruster receives power from the group of batteries pretty close to the motor. Remember that those batteries later in our course of auxiliary system we are going to practice, and we are going to connect the bow thruster with the heavy motors by means of the solenoid control box, because the solenoid control box is the element that provides the ability to reverse the rotation in DC motors. Later we are going to talk about it. The solenoid control box will receive the signal from the joystick. Where is located the joystick? Over there, in other group of batteries. Okay. If the negative of that group of batteries is not connected with the negative of this group of batteries, it's impossible to send the signal with the joystick and start start the motor, the electric motor of the bow thruster. This is possible only if the negative of this group of batteries is connected with the negative of that group of batteries. That's correct? Now you understand? Other example, the ignition switch and the motor, the diesel motor. Where is located the diesel motor? It's located here in the engine room. Okay. And the start motor of this engine is connected with the group of batteries, heavy batteries, series HD, lead acid batteries. Okay, the motor, the start motor, probably is 24 volts. And where is located the ignition switch? Oh, it's located in the pilot helm or in the fly bridge. And how I fit the power in that ignition switch? From the house battery bank or from the electronics battery bank. How can I send that signal from the ignition switch into the start motor, into the solenoid of the start motor here? This is possible because the negative of that group of batteries is connected with the negative of this group of batteries. If the negatives are connected, I close the loop and I can send the signal from that group into this group. Bingo! This is possible only because the negatives are connected together, and this is a common complaint. Hey, Mr. Lopez, I don't know what happened with my engine. 2 days ago, I can start the engine if I start the engine directly in the switch on the engine room. But from the fly bridge, nothing. Hey, my friends, you did some service on the batteries recently in your boat? Oh, yes, one guy came here a couple of days ago to replace the batteries in the house battery bank. Oh, really? And after that, you have that issue? Yes, after that, I have that issue. Okay. Let me check. Let me visit your boat. Oh, this is the house battery bank. Let me check. Oh, what happened with this negative cable? I don't know. He said that it's not necessary connect that negative. Yeah, let me explain one thing. Let me put back that negative connected with the other negatives in the final negative terminal of this group of batteries. Can you try to start again? Boom! Yes, because that cable is the cable that connects this group of batteries with the cranking batteries in the engine room. Right now, they are connected again, and you can start again. Bingo! This is the situation. This is why you need to connect the negatives together. Okay, very, very important. Other important situation related with the group of batteries. The customer complained that this group of batteries is not charging completely. The charger is supposed that it's working in good condition, but when you disconnect the battery charger, the capacity of the battery bank decreases immediately, dramatically down. Okay, what is the process to check those batteries? It's check battery by battery individually with the load tester, with the battery load tester. Later we are going to talk about that. Okay, you check this battery is good, you check the second one. I am going to explain the process to do that. It's not easy. And you found that the battery number 3 and the battery number 5 of that group, those batteries are out. You need to replace those batteries. And what is the recommendation for the customer? Replace only those 2 batteries or replace the entire group of batteries? Yes, replace the whole group of batteries for new batteries. Doesn't matter if only 2 are damaged. Why? Because the rest of the batteries in the group will be damaged in a couple of days, because those batteries work together during the same period of time. The recommendation is never try to replace 2 or 3 batteries, replace all of them. I know it's expensive, but this is the situation, all right? And later we are going to explain the process to do that process, the process to replace the batteries, the process to check the batteries, the process to connect the batteries again. It's a good episode. It's the episode, the next episode, episode number 3, related with that topic. Okay, in that case, replace the entire group of batteries, not only 2, not only 3 batteries. Okay. Other important recommendation related with the group of batteries. For example, in the previous example, the cranking system. Suppose that the ignition switch receives the power from the house battery bank, and that group of batteries is 12 volts. However, the batteries for the start motor, for the cranking system, are configured in 24 volts for the motor. Can I send the signal 12 volts for the solenoid to start that motor 24 volts? Yes, you can, because that signal is only to activate the solenoid, and you need only introduce the signal, the solenoid close the gap, the current pass from the positive terminal into the coil of the start motor, and at the same time move it, the plunger, and engage the bendix with the flywheel. Yes, you can do that. You can do that, no problem. You can send a small signal to activate a big motor, and later we are going to play with those examples in our course of auxiliary system. Great, guys. This is another great recommendation about the groups of batteries. And the last recommendation is about the battery chargers. Later we have a chapter, the chapter 6, dedicated to the charging and cranking system, and we are going to talk about the battery chargers. But the recommendation is try to use the appropriate battery charger according with the type of batteries. Later we are going to see that the battery chargers, the marine battery charger, they have the option to select lead acid or gel or AgM, like this. And according with this, you can keep fully charged this battery bank with the proper battery charger. What happens if I have, for example, this battery charger is a battery charger with 3 outputs. What is the meaning of that? With this battery charger, I can charge 3 battery banks at the same time. Only if those battery banks are the same type of batteries, lead acid, and lead acid, or gel, or AgM. Mr. Lopez, but they say that it's an intelligent battery charger, and they have, yes, my friend, but the same type. If you mix it, different type of batteries, you can damage the battery charger, or you can damage one of the group of the batteries. Later in the chapter 6, I am going to explain with more details that situation. Okay, this is the most important recommendation about the batteries, about the group of batteries. In the next coming episode, we are going to check the nomenclature of the batteries, the selection of the batteries, and some topics about the service and the maintenance on batteries.